Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted to be joined by the PDC's Chief Executive, Matt Porter. How are you doing, Matt?
Oh yeah, I'm good, Josh. I'm good. Nice to talk to you.
No, thank you very much. It's been a week or two of announcements from the PDC. Some took in more positive lights, some took in more negative lights. How's the busy period been for yourself?
Well, just that. I mean, a busy period, but then again, there aren't that many quiet periods. We've obviously got a minor lull in terms of the regularity of our major events. Having come back from Australia and New Zealand, obviously had the World Series finals last weekend, and then kind of get into the business end of the year in terms of leading up to the World Championship. So it's sort of the right time to make announcements regarding next year and other relevant matters. Just so happens that quite a lot of them have come at once.
The calendar was one of the main things I wanted to speak to you about, which came out last week, I believe. The major shift being the Players' Championship events moving to midweek. What was the thinking behind that decision?
Well, it's a direction of travel that we've been on for a few years now with midweek events. We feel that for professional players, the opportunity to have weekends to take some respite, to spend time with their families, do other things is a positive one. I appreciate it's not going to suit everybody. Some people who have other employment, will have to look at their diaries and their schedules. But ultimately, we're aiming to run a professional tour, and we have to treat that as our main consideration. So I think by and large, it'll be a decision that that people will understand. But obviously, there will be some people for whom it's not entirely what they want.
What do you expect the players that do have full-time jobs to do in terms of their decision? Because obviously, with 30 players championship events, that could work up to 30 days holidays they would need to take.
Yeah, holidays or the opportunity to work on other days. Not every job's a 9 to 5 job. People are self-employed. Some people may have been looking for the opportunity to go full-time, and this may be a catalyst for that. Everyone's got time to talk to their employers and see if they can work something out. Look, ultimately, we are running a professional tour. If you're a semi-pro player, you're having to adapt to be in a professional environment. We're not going to make this a semi-pro tour to suit players who have other jobs, because that's not the way we want to take the sport forward. We want to keep increasing opportunities, increasing prize money, etc. And we feel that by doing this, we'll have the opportunity over the sort of medium term to increase the number of events that we stage across weekends, give more players more opportunities. So, it's for each individual to manage their diary in the way that suits them the best.
With the move to midweeks, as you say, there's more room at weekends now. Can we expect maybe more on the European tour kind of going forwards, maybe more events on those weekend slots?
Yeah, as I say, going forward, we will look to see what opportunities we've got to increase the amount of content that the amount of tournaments that we deliver. Obviously, it's not an overnight thing, but as you can see by the new World Series venues this year, the new European Tour venue next year, or destinations next year, there is a demand for darts from places where there hasn't been previously, and we want to be able to satisfy that demand. A lot of Pro Tour events were midweeks anyway this year. So it's just a continuation of that journey we've been on.
With that, will there be any increased prize money in the first round to help players on the lower end of the order of merit? Or
we're always reviewing prize money, and we do that in consultation with obviously our board of directors. We talk to the PDPA. Those conversations are ongoing. We haven't reached any decisions yet. It wouldn't be fair for me to surmise or predict anything, but we do always evaluate where we stand with prize money to make sure that it's fair for players and gives them the opportunity to progress within their careers as dart professionals.
Another thing I noticed on the calendar is no venue yet decided for the World Grand Prix, which of course in Leicester in just a couple of weeks' time. Is that something that's under review with the Morningside Arena? And is there any other venues you've got in mind at the moment?
I mean, the venue in Leicester is a good venue for the Grand Prix. It's disappointing that we don't have a multi-day event in Ireland, which we can't while the City West is out of action, and looks like it's going to be out of action probably forever now. But it's not easy to find another venue in Ireland. It's not a country that's blessed with many large indoor sporting arenas. So we will continue to look, but we know that the event works in Leicester, and Leicester are a good partner for us. I don't want to, come across like we've got a problem with Leicester, because we don't. It just so happens that at this moment in time, we don't have a contract in place for a venue for the World Grand Prix next year.
A venue that we haven't seen on the PDC calendar for a number of years now is the Civic Hall, but I believe that is up and running, and Boxer have announced a boxing event there, which is actually the week of the Grand Slam this year in Aldersley. Would you be looking to dip back into using the Civic Hall at all?
No, we're not. No, we're happy at the Aldersley. We've spoken to Wolverhampton Council. They're going to make infrastructure improvements at the Aldersley. Ticket sales at the Aldersley are positive, which suggests to us that fans are happy to go there. We've not been at the Civic Hall for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years now, and maybe 6 or 7 years, and it's not something that we're looking to do, to return there for the Grand Slam.
The World Series has continued to grow this year. We've obviously seen events over in Bahrain. Copenhagen's been a new addition to the calendar over the last couple of years. We've re-added the Dutch Darts Masters to the calendar. How much of a big decision? How pleased are you with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Netherlands is one of our strongest territories. The standard of players is excellent. We've got good partners there, good broadcasters, good sponsors. The demand from fans is strong. So it's a logical place for us to stage an extra event. We like to take the World Series to countries where we can really develop the game, and it's already very well developed in the Netherlands, but it's still a logical place for us to stage an event, because the standard of the event is going to be very high. So we're pleased to be back, and we'll be at a venue that we feel is probably more suited to the event than we did previously.
I heard rumours around a World Series event being staged, second World Series event being staged in North America. Are there any more that are we looking to add to next year? Is that something that maybe further down the line we see more World Series events?
Yeah, it's further down the line, really. I think Canada would be a strong location for us to stage a World Series event. We'd love to do one there. It's not going to happen in 2024. We need a few different things to fall into place first, but it's certainly on our list for the future.
Another major announcement that's been made over the last couple of weeks is the players competing in both the Lakeside World Championship and the PDC World Championship will have to make their decision over which championship they want to compete in. How much of a tough decision was that to make? Because obviously you're putting the power in the players' hands in that instance.
Well, we always try to do that, to be fair. We like players to be, emancipated and able to make their own decisions. And we respect any decision that any player makes. They have to make the call that's right for them at this stage in their careers. Obviously, in previous years, our World Championship has always been before the BDO or the WDF World Championship. It's now after, because of a move by the WDF, which they're more than entitled to do. Their prerogative, of course, to stage the event when they feel is most suitable for it. But if you look at the wording of the Tomlin order from back after the BDO PDC split, players can only play in one World Championship in a season. And also we feel that, frankly, as a player in a sport where there is a clear position as to which where the genuine world champion comes from, that you need to commit one way or the other. And I don't think we're doing anything that can be deemed to be unfair. Again, it won't suit everybody, because a small number of people would have had the opportunity to qualify for both events, but ultimately they'll have to make a decision.
Bo Greaves, obviously Luke Littler has already come out and said that he will be competing at the PDC World Championship, which I think mainly leaves Bo Greaves as the one that's sort of unsure at the moment, not sure which way she's going to lean. She's been very successful on the women's series and would have been looking to back up last year's World Championship win. Do you think that would be a real disappointment for her?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Bo. I mean, Bo's been the major beneficiary from the women's series over the last 18 months or so, in terms of prize money won, not just from the women's series, but the women's world match play. We've invested £250,000 into prize money, plus similar sort of money again into staging and things like that for the event. So we're strong supporters of the women's game, but we also firmly believe that at the elite level, men and women should be playing against each other where they're capable of doing so. And Bo has proven that she can compete in that environment. So she's got to make a decision that's right for her. We'll respect that. If she chooses to play in the Lakeside, then she'd be welcome back into the Women's Series next year. There'd be no issue with that from our side.
Will there be any similar decision around the Seniors World Championship, or is that different because it's beyond the PDC World Championship?
Well, that's different. I mean, the Seniors World Championship is after the PDC World Championship. So the onus would be on the promoters of the seniors event to make a decision regarding participation in that after a player's already participated at Alexandra Palace. I mean, that isn't referred to as within the Tomlin order. It's not a competing professional tour, so to speak. But again, I can't speak on behalf of the organisers of the seniors, but I don't expect that to have an impact.
Sure. The World Championship, the PDC World Championship, now has a new title sponsor in Paddy Power. There has been a lot of talk about gambling sponsors in not just darts, but sports in general. But they've been a big supporter of the PDC and darts over the years. Do you see that as a positive switch, getting Paddy Power on board?
Yeah, I think Paddy Power are going to be a great sponsor. I think the content they're going to produce, the atmosphere they're going to help enhance the event with, and it's already a fantastic event, but they seem to have that Midas touch when it comes to branding and activation. They are a fun brand, and they don't ram the betting message down people's throat. If you look at Paddy Power's content, most of it is related to sports news on social media. They have an irreverent look at that. So I think whether you like betting or not, you'll be able to see the fun that Paddy Power will bring to the event. And we're very pleased to be working with them. I've seen some of the ideas that they're looking to bring to the table, and they're really exciting. So it's a positive from our side. We always like sponsors who are engaged and who bring something to the event.
Yeah, you can certainly say Paddy Power are engaged, much like Betfred at the World Match Play. Regarding betting sponsors, obviously the ruling is at the moment they're very much allowed to sponsor events. Is that something that is changing going forward? I'm not quite familiar with what the lay of the land is there.
Well, there's no legislation at the moment to say that betting companies can't sponsor our events. Obviously, if that was to be brought in, it's something we'd have to deal with. But it's not something that we're considering as an immediate short-term threat. Obviously, long-term, who knows what might happen at government level, but for the time being, it's business as usual.